Hi, Jeff. Welcome to Furniture Success Podcast.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Starting with your background, could you share a bit about your journey, your story, and how you ended up in the mattress and home furnishing industry?
Yeah, coming out of high school as a kid, I worked in construction, tore my knees
Mhm.
up doing that, got into selling building products. Pretty cool rise in that industry, but it was big corporate world and got spit up and chewed out and said, I don't ever want to do that. So then I got connected to a manufacturer's rep team covering national accounts. And so I cut my teeth with a pretty big team pretty quick with some pretty big players. A lot of your former waterbed stores that are now top 100 furniture stores, like Home Furniture, More Furniture, um, Arizona Bedrooms, which I don't think exists anymore. Today's Bedroom One, which I know closed. There was a couple guys down in Florida, but called on accounts like that and did that for quite a while on the wholesale side, and then got tired of being on the road, missing my family, so just kind of scaled down to a regional territory as a manufacturer's rep. And I've done things on the factory side, supply side. I've helped to develop some products, helped launch some brands, and all of that. In 2010, I just decided to make another choice to prioritize family and prioritize life, and leverage my skills and bought a customer of mine with my business partner Ben, and that's Gardners Mattress More, and we're a successful retailer in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's perfect. And uh, like, I just wanna you are different than uh, other guests on this, program. You have, y- like, you have a podcast.
Mhm.
You have a book. It is well written,
Oh, thank you.
an easy read. I highly recommend your book.
Yep.
Anyone learn more about you and especially healing.
Yep.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah, thank you.
And yeah, so I could you start from your childhood if you don't mind? How did you ended up with the industry? It's you already explained that, but you had a pretty tough childhood, and then
Oh,
you
yes.
are a
Yep.
warrior, right?
Yeah.
And you fought, almost alone for a long time, and then you made um a decision, and you picked the right path for your future. And
Yeah.
it's an amazing story. So could you just start, um, from earlier, childhood?
Yeah, so asking me to go back into childhood,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah, and really what's in my book, The Space for Leadership. So, I
Mhm,
always just kinda pause here when I'm talking about this part of my life for those listening and watching, because you might be in an office where you got the speakers on, or you might be in a car with family and friends and, listening to podcasts, which is always a smart thing to do, right? As
mhm.
opposed to brain rot stuff like some of the terrible music of today and news. Um so, yeah, I just always ask everybody to take a pause and maybe, turn the volume down, and just listen privately. So what we're gonna dive into here is my childhood. I'm a, sexual abuse, victim and
Mhm.
survivor, and I've survived that, and, that's a part of my life that's in the past, and I'm able to reflect on it now. I'm able to understand it. It's a really, I go really deep in my book, The Space for Leadership, which you held up, and I have over my shoulder here, available on Amazon. And I really use my past and my healing and my ability to speak openly as I do. 1 in 4 women are victims of some sort of sexual assault and or abuse or rape, and 1 in 6 men are. And so it's not that big of a spread, right? We often think of that topic related to women, but for men, it's not that much. It's a little more rare, but not by much, right?
Mhm.
And so if you think about the rooms you're in as a leader or in our industry, um, largely it's dominated by men. And so if you're in a room with, 60 people, the likelihood that there's ten other men in that room that have shared my past is very high.
Wow.
And you think about it in that way, it's kind of eye opening, right? And
Mhm.
so, Uh, and so, it's more common than we know and than we think. Um,
Mhm.
but I really dig into it through the lens of leadership, and what I would challenge both anybody listening in our industry and even outside of our industry, if you happen to pick this up, um, if you're a leader, think about the people around you. Like, they come into their day with you, they're giving you the lion's share of their waking hours in their week, and you're getting that. And just think about what they're bringing in and the way you interact, and
Mhm.
how that might manifest in their day, or like how they respond to your leadership. And it might be that they respond what you view as negatively as a fight or flight response. It might be how they respond is it's reminding them of something that's bad in their past. And so you have to first acknowledge that. So I would hope from this moment you would think about your leadership style in that way. Um, and then look to really acknowledge it and really broach that topic carefully, delicately. Understand, I should also say, I am not a psychologist. I'm not a trained psychologist, and I don't purport to be. I am somebody that has survived this and is able to use it, really as a toolkit of tools in my life to succeed. Um, then that might sound hard for some people if we share
Mhm.
that common bond in our past, because maybe you're not where I am, and that's perfectly okay. Another way I lead people and challenge people to think about what's in others' past and what's in your past, maybe, is,
Mhm.
and it's a chapter in the book. It's called "The Way of the Suitcase." Right, like some days um, you're able to move past what's been in your past very easily. It's very manageable. So it might be like
Mhm.
a little handy clutch purse for a woman, or now guys are wearing those little man purses or merces that go over their shoulder. Very easy to carry that stuff. And then other days it's like a big rucksack, right? Nasty canvas rucksack with a little thin strap that cuts into your shoulder. It bangs into things as you're walking around. It's heavy,
Mhm.
and that's just how life goes. And sometimes if we think about it through that lens and we think about the people we lead and the people around us, they might be carrying a rucksack in your business, in your store, in your warehouse, on your delivery truck today. And it's
Mhm.
not anything you did. It's not about your customers and them not serving their customers. They just might be having a rough day. And if we
Mhm.
care about people as we say we do, because we say we care about our customers, so we may as well care about our team, because we spend exponentially more time with our team than we do our customers. We ought to treat our people the same way we treat our customers. And I think leadership is so very important to understand where our people are coming from. And so, one tip might be to have these delicate conversations and say, what are you bringing into your day today? Did you have a bad day? Is there something going on at home? Is there something that's bothering you? Is there something about what happens here that reminds you of something negative? And I don't need you to tell me. I just need you to know I'm open to understanding that that exists for you. And you can leave it at that.
Mhm.
And you don't really have to say anything more. Let them say something, and you're going to have to earn that trust. Um, I wouldn't by any chance, any stretch of the means say, pick up this podcast and go do that right away. I would say, read books on trauma informed leadership, read my book if you so
Mhm.
choose. Again, I'm not an expert, but I've lived it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Like you've been involved in many different areas of business, like from mattresses to leadership and podcasting. How do you balance everything?
Yeah, it's all focusing on what the goals are of each different part
Mhm.
of my life,
Mhm.
and then creating non-negotiables. I was talking to a buying group leader just this morning. We established a partnership through Mattress Retailer Toolkit, and I said, hey, now that we're connected, here's how I work. I don't have any alerts on my phone. Text me. You have my cell number. Um, if you need something faster than on email, I'm giving you permission to text me. And so just that barrier, if you will, I don't have my phone with alerts because I'd never get anything done because I get distracted. Ding dong, red little alarm bells, right? So turn
Mhm.
that noise off in your life. Uh, you heard me talk about how in a car you ought to be listening to stuff that fuels your mind. And so do things like that. Make better choices about what goes in your
Mhm.
mind. Um, And then establish what your non-negotiables are. You can have everything you want without giving up everything that's going to fuel that desire. So that means keep your family in focus, right? Get a family calendar, train your family just like you do your team. Like, hey, if it's not on my calendar, it's going to be hard to commit and hard to be present. But if we can work together and create a family calendar, that's going to be that's the default. That's the first thing that everything else is going to work around. So that's just a few things that I do to really stay focused and stay successful and make sure everything gets its proper attention.
Mhm, mhm. And like when I look at you, I see a lifelong learner, and you 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 don't just learn, you also share and educate our other people in the industry. So how do you implement your leadership principles in your store? Like, do you have any specific example?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's first, it's a great question. I mean, first, it's a commitment that everything that happens is a direct result of leadership. All right. There's a fallacy in thinking that the people on your team are you. And that's said, even if you think or know you have the greatest team members possible, they still aren't
Mhm,
you. Um, and even if you bring them in and they have a small equity position, or you've created an ESOP company where the employees own it, or they have stock, in the company, they're still not you, right? You created your thing with passion, so you have to transfer that passion, but you also have to transfer the ownership, which means when something bad happens, you own it. There's something to learn about that negative outcome, and you
mhm,
as a leader allowed it to happen. And you might say, well, yeah, but what if somebody had an accident? Well, why did the accident happen? Was it because, like, I was at a learning event this weekend, um, and it was led by somebody who built and sold a massive home services company that does like plumbing and HVAC and electric.
mhm,
And he told a story about how he lost a great person because they didn't feel safe in their truck. Their need was to feel safe driving the company truck. They already struggled with driving a bigger services type truck.
mhm,
The owner of that company knew the fleet manager was grizzled and, pushed things because that was his goal, right? Expand, constrain the cost budget of tires and brakes and oil changes and get a better result because that was a goal. But it was always a goal with safety first. But he knew he had to continuously remind this fleet manager of that. Well, this one tech who drove the truck, his most desired need at work was working in a safe environment. That person ended up leaving and quitting because the fleet manager wouldn't give him new tires.
mhm.
Now you could point a finger and say, well, that person sucks because, what do you mean? I'm not putting you down the road in an unsafe vehicle. Well, but it was brought up multiple times and your layers of management didn't respond to it. And you ultimately are in charge of everything. And so, in that instance, the leader, the founder of the company owned that outcome and is still friends with that tech today,
Mhm.
despite moving on years ago, because it was such a foundational learning lesson as a leader. Total ownership. You can't just be the person to celebrate the wins. You got to be the person to lock arms and be there in the losses and be there in the learning lessons.
I see. Yeah. Mm. So, like, as a mattress store owner, that's my point. I know, like, you are more than that, but
Mhm.
our listeners are from furniture industry. You started a podcast, you wrote a book. Definitely, you built authority and also, reputation. And like, how did it affect your business? Like, did you see any benefit? I know you're in Pennsylvania. It's not a huge city, but still, you are well-known character in the industry. So, um, did you get any benefit from, your podcast? You are very
Yeah.
active
So,
on YouTube. Yeah.
I mean, I've done a few podcasts over the years. I had my own podcast called Big Ticket Life, which was kind of my personal consulting leadership brand.
Mhm.
That's been paused, but our community podcast show, Lancaster Connects,
Mhm.
is really becoming a foundational element and marketing machine of our business. So it's all about shining light on great people, great charities, great organizations, and then
Mhm.
some businesses that really have the same focus as us, that believing in this statement. You can't just sell to the community that you do business in and think you're part of the community, because that's just taking.
Mm.
Okay. Um, you have to be additive to your community. And so Lancaster Connects is how we're additive, because we're really producing a well-produced show, much like your
Mhm.
show. We're giving them free use of that video. We carve up reels, we create social content. I mean, we have a machine behind that show, both in getting guests, booking guests, pre-production, production of the show, and distribution of the content. Uh, it's a marathon. It's not a marathon. To say it's a marathon would say it's a sprint. It's like a super ultra marathon as far as
Mhm.
direct reward of making sales. But where it makes impact is when you have teachers reach out who say, "Hey, I've got a student that I found out sleeping on the floor." And then you see the picture of the happy kid with the bed you delivered. And you come to find out not only were they sleeping on the floor, but in the background in the corner is mold pouring down from a leak in the ceiling. And that kid was sleeping on black mold carpet. And that's the kind of community connection a community podcast show can create.
Mhm.
Is you give permission for people to connect with you and reach out, and you become a conduit to improve people's lives truly. Yeah, we do that with our customers, and we do it well, and we get a lot of customers,
Mhm.
but we also create impact. We give back mattresses. We're making generational change. Our mattresses are fulfilling the place of shelter, where shelter becomes home, and shelter and home is the number one it's number one on the list in the hierarchy of needs in life is shelter. And we make those shelters home. And when a single mom who gets left, and this is a true story, gets left by her husband, literally, husband comes home one day and says, "I'm leaving you, goodbye," and just leaves 4 kids. And that mom connects with a charity that we support, that's been on our show, and has provided a stable house for her sons and her daughter, and has gotten to be a nurse and now going to be a radiologist. And
Wow.
those kids have such a tremendous example and a parent, and know their community has their back. We've been a part of generational change, because otherwise those 4 kids would have just been they would have had just such a tough life.
Mhm.
That's what like a community podcast show can do. It's not for everybody, but
Mhm.
it can be an integral part of your marketing. And then the end around play on that is, when you're supporting charities often have what? Boards, right? They have groups of
Yeah.
local leaders, local people, and typically people who give back time are affluent. They're in your community. They might also be business owners. But when you support their thing,
Mhm.
what do? They refer your business and they come to your business. And
Yeah.
that was never our first goal. It happened fairly soon after, and it was like a nice $9,000 purchase. I'm like, "Oh, well, that's a nice byproduct." Right? And so over the years, we've created some intentionality there with that end around play, but we've never lost sight of the fact that it's gotta be about the community. And I'm actually in a mode right now where we're tooling, or I should say retooling, aspects of the show to dive deeper into that community part.
Mhm. And like, what's one key takeaway you learned from interviewing so many successful leaders in your community that has helped you grow as a business owner?
Yeah, I mean, learning from them,
Mhm.
it's that passion really can drive people, um,
Mhm.
and so but passion's one of those things, like, kinda like a fire, right? You start a fire at first,
Mhm.
it looks beautiful, right? There's very few Christmas pictures of the Christmas fireplace with the embers, uh, in the log, right? But that's really where the heat comes from. The pretty fire and the flames going up is just picturesque, and you don't get a lot of heat from that. What I've learned from these people is they've got tremendous passion, tremendous heat, tremendous fire. And so they keep that going because they're so passionate about helping people.
Mhm.
I translate that into our business as how do I get our people, how do I get those coals and those embers constantly burning where the heat just pours off of them for what we're doing, right?
Mhm.
That's what I have to fuel. Because if the passion is sell a rectangle and get other paper rectangles money, where's the passion in that?
Yeah.
Okay. If we're making change in people's lives, helping them sleep better, right? And now we're evolving into a very firm position of no, not only do we help you sleep better, we actually turn back the clock in life because we have
Mhm.
more science than ever to show when you pay attention to your metabolic clock, you add years to your life. And a mattress is the foundation of everything you're going to do to improve your health and wellness. Because if you're sleeping terribly on a bad mattress, you're actually speeding up your clock in life and the countdown. No, we turn it back. We add longevity to your life. And so we're working to bring that into our communication as well.
Mhm.
That's passion. That's the burning embers. That's the heat. That's what I learned from the charity folks. I mean, they get to see the impact every day in the people they help. It's kind of hard in your retail environment to see that impact every day beyond the ka-ching from the cash register, right? Because the deliverable goes home to a place we don't go to, we don't see, our delivery people see it. They don't see the connection with the customer in the store. It's all kind of disjointed. So what's got to be that thing? Well, we help people. We actually help
Mhm.
people live longer, more productive, more impactful lives. And we take that leadership position going back to our community show. So it's all interconnected.
Mhm. Yeah, passion. And how do you foster those qualities within your team? Like, because you need to grow your team as well if you want to
Mhm.
grow your business, right?
Yep.
So, how do you achieve in that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I would say everybody eats at our table.
Mhm.
We do some fun things like in about 6 weeks, I'll go to a local butcher and pick up an entire cow, uh, right? Because closers eat steak, right? All of your great sales movies, steak's part of it, right? Um, so we fill their freezer with incredible organic farm raised beef. And it's like, everybody gets like 80 pounds of beef. So we do that. Your birthday month, we get you a birthday gift in your birthday month from the company. We do team dinners at great places. We celebrate those small wins throughout the day. We send notes of appreciation. We tell people when we notice things like, I just kind of told one of my guys, Chad, I said, really, you've become my right hand guy in execution of experience because you really pay attention to the sales floor and our selling environment. And I appreciate that. And I love you for it. And like, that's not a pay raise. It's not an extra day off paid. It's not a bonus. It's just appreciation, and showing appreciation to people goes so far in life. And, our uh, helper on the truck, I've been pushing, like back to that safety thing. He was one of these people, young kid, not even 21 yet, soon to be. Um, He didn't feel comfortable driving an 18-foot box truck for a long time, but he finally stepped into that role through nurturing and support and getting him comfortable. And, and so he went out the other week for the first time on his own with a temporary helper because our other guy was out sick. Um, and I just texted him because he's a young kid. Text is the way to manage him, as opposed to an email. Uh, But I wanted to thank him that day, that he did it, and I just wasn't at the store, and so I just shot him a text like, "Hey, man, awesome. Love the fact that you stepped out of that comfort zone and got in that truck and led the day." Yeah, I sent that message at 7, made sure no fires happened, right? Made sure there were no issues, but, just said, "Hey, man, you did great today, and I'm really proud of you for that." Come to find out, doesn't have a great father figure at home,
Mhm.
just was given a story that I'll keep private, but doesn't have a great family father figure at home. And I would imagine a text like that from somebody that could be his dad, because I have a
Mhm.
21-year-old, um, probably went a really long way, for him.
Yeah.
And just loving on your people and showing appreciation is a big way to keep that passion going.
Mhm. And on your website, like big ticket life, you discuss mindset and success strategies, and how important is a positive mindset to success, and what practices do you recommend for developing a mindset that fosters growth, like in this example,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's everybody's going to come around to learning, which is what a positive mindset, successful mindset is. It's always being a constant learner. You
Mhm,
touched on that, so thank you for recognizing that. Um, this past weekend, prior to our recording this, I was at an event Friday, Saturday, Sunday that went
Mhm.
9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and then 9:30 to 6 on the Sunday. 3 straight days, bell to bell, constant learning. Like, the learning time that I deliver in Mattress Retailer Toolkit, I did in that 3 days what we deliver in, 16 months. But not everybody's cut from my cloth, right? I am willing to jump into environments like that and immerse.
mhm,
So I would say that would probably be it. Like, immerse yourself in the thing you want to bring forward in your leadership, whether that's addressing past trauma, really step into that moment and own it. Like, really get to the core of, um, it happened. Um, and so you ask yourself, well, what was meant for me out of this, and how can I make this positive? Because it's really the only choice you have.
Mhm.
Um, and I know that might be a hard statement for some people to hear as it relates to past traumas, but what's the other option? Truly, if
mhm,
you're not going to make it positive, you're going to let it own you. And for some people, it ruins them. Drug addictions, passed on behaviors, abusive behaviors, and frankly, suicide, right? Which is terrible.
Mhm.
Uh, so whatever your thing is like, immerse into it, because if you're excited about it, you may as well immerse into it so it cements and then you can lead on it. Um, everything that goes in your toolbox has got to be a durable, hardened tool because you're going to need to use it repeatedly. It's got to be reliable and it's got to be dependable.
wow. And in your leadership journey, what are some of the biggest challenges you foresee for the home furnishings industry, and how do you plan on navigating them? Like tariffs,
Yeah.
politics, and other things. But um, what's your plan?
Yeah. I mean, we've got a saying in our store, inside the four walls of our business, it's the happiest place on earth, right? Kind of like Disney. Um, and I remind our team, tariffs, political upheaval, or whatever that means to you doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Um, down economy, up economy, you know,
Recession,
recession, doesn't
yeah.
matter. Inside our four walls, all of that noise is turned off, and our customer agrees because they walked in our front door too. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So if the person's in front of you, they're there for a reason, and they're also ignoring, as you should be, all the things that might negatively out impact your day and your sale. And so that's how we approach it. It's really a strong commitment to that belief. And if I recognize one of my team members a little more down, I'll call it out privately and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And I know them intimately. I mean, we've got 10 years with one, 5 with another, and 2 with another on the sales floor. And my delivery drivers are not quite as tenured, but we know them too. So recognize your people, know when they're having a rough day, and just we got to turn that switch on, because in these four walls, we're happy. In these four walls, we're positive because that's what the customer deserves. Because the customer's turned off that noise too. They're in front of us. So they've said, tariffs, what are tariffs? We have no tariffs. Political upheaval, everything's great. It's like utopia. Economy, I got all the money I could have because I'm here to give you some, right? Like, that's what they've essentially said. So
Mhm.
embrace it and maximize it and make it a great experience for your customer because they deserve it. They deserve the best show. Tony Bennett, great musician. Uh, I'm not a big fan, but longtime musician, had something
Mhm.
like 5,000 shows in residency in Las Vegas, which is 15 years running. And he was asked, Tony, how do you put on such a great show every night? Like, you're 5,000 shows into this. And I picked up this quote around that time. He says, it doesn't matter if I got one show or 5,000. Every person with a butt in that seat and a ticket in their hand bought a ticket to have a great show. And so your customer deserves the same. Give them a show. Fit them for a great mattress. Find the solution for how they're going to use that motion sofa. They don't buy a dining room table from you. They buy the foundational piece of furniture by which family memories are going to be made. This is where your kid's finally going to beat you at Monopoly. This is where you're going to talk with your daughter about her upcoming marriage and she just got proposed to. That's what a dining room table is. It's not where you eat food. It's where you make memories.
Yep.
That's how you need to approach what you sell, because that's what it does. It's not a rectangle at price. It's not a red sofa for $7.99. It's something that improves people's lives that they're going to love to use and have. That's the kind of happiness that we focus on in our store.
Mhm. And do you leverage of course, if someone, steps into your store, that mindset is correct, but you need to leverage social media, paid ads, email marketing, SMS marketing, website, AI. There's so many things, that you need to be taking care of as a business owner.
Yep.
And do you leverage tech as well,
Yes.
in your business?
Yeah. Yes and yes, and we're even growing with it. I mean, AI is going to change the world.
Mhm.
Some people think that's terrible, and some people think it's fantastic, and then there's people like me that are in between and see it for what it is. It's another tool, and so you have to embrace it. You have to be ready for it. Um, as far as all the different media choices, which AI really is just a media choice. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the day that we say we have AI marketers. Just like the people who say that they're Facebook marketers.
Mhm.
It's not Facebook marketing, it's Facebook advertising.
Correct.
AI will get your message out as it begins to have advertisers come on, and it will at some point. Um, AI is for now it's tech. For now it's assistance. It'll soon be advertising. It's recommending your store right now. You might not know it. Your customers are asking it,
Mhm.
but it's happening. Um, Facebook is advertising for all the reasons that there was never a thing called a yellow book marketer or a TV marketer. You bought TV advertising. So you need to understand first, there's advertising and there's marketing. Marketing is the thing
Mhm.
that your customers feel about you. It's how you connect. It's your marketing messages that resonate with your audience, your market. And then you have to pick the advertising. So you listed off a bunch: paid ads, Facebook, social, uh, you know, AI. You have to line up your advertising to your market. Like, what does your market use? Or, if you're selling a bunch of 20 and 25-year-olds, you could really care less about Facebook. I shouldn't say care less, but it shouldn't be your core focus. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, if you're selling a bunch of senior citizens transitioning on the back end of Medicare, you probably ought to be on television, in radio, in print, because they appreciate media like that, right? So you need to know who your market is, and then you got to put your messages that resonate with them in the media they most use. And that's how you're
Mhm.
going to maximize your ad spend, because you're putting the right message at the right time to the right
Mhm.
market at the right place.
Mhm. Mhm. And that's the coincidence, but that's the first chapter in my book. It's going to be available this week, hopefully
Congrats.
on Amazon. Thank you, and you'll get a signed copy, Jeff. Don't worry.
Oh, thank
And
you.
yeah, and for our listeners, if you listen us and want to get a free copy, then go to furnituremarketingpros.com and definitely I will sign a free copy for you and ship it. Um, so what do you advise someone who wants to start a mattress store or you know um furniture store, especially like you in a small community? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, have a plan, and the plan can't be, I got a location
Mhm.
wherever that is. I have an open sign and I got some product. That can't be the plan. That's the field of dreams, right?
Mhm.
If you build it, they will come. No, they won't. And it's actually that belief of, I've got a location, I'm here, I'm present, so give me your money. It's actually very socialistic in nature. Um, no, you go create your own success, which means if you're going to open a business of any kind, but to bring it to our context of our conversation, furniture and bedding, you got to have a reason to exist. That field of dreams approach. I've got product. Let's make a transaction. Amazon, Wayfair, Walmart, Target, Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's. 7 powerhouses that all have apps in the palm of your customer's hand. Your customer's not like me. Ding dong, red alert, notification, mattress on sale, sofa on sale, and they know that, and your customer gets that notification because they're buying ads based off of what their cell phone device is saying they heard. You're not even part of the conversation. So if your whole thing is to just present product and make a transaction, I just listed 7 powerhouse players, then all the other top 100 furniture stores, all the other top 25 mattress retailers, all the other online sellers that they can make a transaction with too. What's the experience you can deliver? How are you going to truly change their life? And then you got to demonstrate it, right? Because, conversation without demonstration is just a presentation. And the world doesn't need more presentations. The world needs change. They need experience. They need demonstration. You got to demonstrate how you change someone's life with your product.
Yep. And I am a huge believer of mentorship. Like, yeah, did you have any mentors in your early stage
Oh,
of
yeah.
business?
Yeah. Paid mentors, coaches. I just engaged with the company I was at for this event this past weekend, and the biggest commitment in coaching, financial commitment, both in annual cost and tenure. So 3-year commitment and the highest annual cost we've ever invested in. So I've had Dan Kennedy's been a direct mentor of mine. I've been in his masterminds. Perry Marshall, he's one of the best marketing minds and thinkers of strategy. I'm invested in his world. I'm in a copywriting group for mentorship. So I get little nuggets there. And with AI, it just dawned on me this morning because I got a print newsletter because I like the print newsletters. But I'm getting away from a lot of print in my personal life because in a year from now, my wife and I will be traveling on the road in an RV lifestyle.
Wow.
We're going to test it for a little bit and then probably go full time. So I got to really dwindle down possession. Well, if I have, any given month, I have a dozen to a couple dozen newsletters and books show up, plus the library that I have already. So I have to get rid of that. So all of this mentorship stuff that comes in my world, I'm going to actually run through AI to say, give me the bullets, give me what I need now. The direction I'm on in this business. I'm changing this leadership style. I'm leading the sales team this way. From these inputs of mentorship, what should I be focused on? Right? I think that's a very smart way to use AI. To your point of mentorship, which you asked, I kind of diverted there. I apologize. Yes, mentorship is so impactful. Connecting with people like yourself at Furniture Marketing Pro. Again, because if you're a furniture retailer, you just can't, it's not enough to have a building and say you're open anymore. It isn't. You've got to know how to market your business. I see in the background, you've got $100 million offers from Alex Hermosi behind you, and you might wonder as a furniture retailer, well, I've heard of that book. I might have got that book. Maybe you translated some of it. Maybe you translated a lot of it. Maybe you don't understand any of it. Here's the reality. Somebody like that has penetrated the entrepreneurship community at such a high level, right? Would you agree with that, Ahmet?
Yeah.
I mean, just about every podcast I'm on and every other entrepreneur I know has that book. Well, he's teaching other people, other businesses, how to market in a very smart and intentional way.
Yeah.
So that means the consciousness of your furniture customer, your mattress store customer, and their consciousness of advertising and marketing and the offers and the presentations they're responding to, that bar has been raised. So if your bar is still down here, I got a rectangle at a price and the sale ends this weekend, which was the same thing you said last weekend and the same thing you said before. So next week when you put it out, is it a promotion or is it a lie? If that's what you're doing down here and your customers are up here responding to really smart advertising, well-placed ads, in well-placed thought-out media with great marketing messages, and your ads down here, the consciousness of your customer, there's a gap.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? You agree? Like they're looking at your stuff like, man, I don't want a sofa that is presented to me like it's 1985. I want to be presented the option to buy a sofa like it's 2025. I wasn't even born in 1985. They're saying to themselves subconsciously. What I just shared there is a massive, massive takeaway from our time. Like you have to be in their state of consciousness and subconsciousness. If you're marketing the way you've always done it, the way our industry has always done it, you are massively behind. You have to elevate the game. And
Yeah, this.
Alex Hormozy over your shoulder, he's got 3 of those books, right? Didn't he just launch another one?
No, not yet.
There's $100 million offers, $100 million teams, and then I thought the 3rd one came out.
Yeah, it was a green one, but not published yet.
Not yet. Okay, so see, but we both know it's forthcoming, or I thought it was out, right? And
yeah.
like that's the name of the game. Like, and so you talk about mentorship. He's raising the bar in mentorship.
Yeah.
Like if you're a coach trying to do what he does, stack up against $300 million books.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about, that consciousness.
Yeah. And he talks about basics, literally like nothing specific. Like he shares his experience and also talks about basics. But the experience in that book, like in those books, especially not just Alex Hormozy, others as well. And you realize that like you are not alone.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a commitment to the basics and knowing what they are.
Yeah.
And I think some people just haven't done that yet. It's not that you can't, it's that you haven't done it yet. So you ought to. And then it's application, so much. The reason you have all those different books, and I would imagine the overlay in those books is it's not circles in the Venn diagram that are very far apart. They're probably largely all layered right on top of each other. But the application of the basics, that's what's different. Because everybody sees the basics through a little different lens and they apply it just a little differently. And they lead just a little differently. And their people are just a little different, but it comes together for them because they're committed and they find that passion and then they get that outcome.
Yep. And do you have a leadership program like that? Can our listeners, join you or like that they can apply for?
Yeah. So thank you for asking. It's very gracious of you. So I appreciate the opportunity. So yes, Mattress Retailer Toolkit is where my focus in our industry goes to as far as leadership and connective to store owners. Mattress Retailer Toolkit's a place where mattress store owners and those who sell mattresses, so it could be a furniture store, could be an appliance store that sells mattresses. This is where you come to get fueled up, or your gas station, right? It's where owners go to get recharged about their business. Some months, we meet twice a month. Some months we're giving you a very tactical tool to basically say, go personalize this for your store. Here's the psychology. Here's the implementation. Use it, make money. Other months, like Q2, we were on a big AI track. Applicable, right? Just a few minutes ago, I said applications where the money is.
Yeah.
We taught applicable uses of AI to really kind of create this little marketing assistant on your shoulder to help you stay focused in your business on your marketing messages, your steps of implementation and success with AI. So we're coming off of that track. So that was more training and strategy. We
Mhm.
did deliver tools, but it wasn't like our one that's made members at least $10,000 each when they use it. Be Back Bucks is a great little tactical tool. You present to people that you're giving a quote. So for anybody with less than a 50% close rate, you need to be in Mattress Retailer Toolkit because that tool itself will convert like crazy for you. So that's a mix of what we do, but it's Toolkit is the place you come as an owner when you're selling mattresses to recharge and bring back leadership to your company, bring back elevate the passion and elevate the success with your mattress business.
Mm. And 50% is like close rate. As far as I know, our average is like between our clients 10% to 20% in
Wow.
most, months. And I think like it's like kind of industry standard in, furniture industry.
Yeah.
So like definitely like 50% means, more money for
Yeah.
everybody.
Wait,
Yeah.
so that's where the industry average for furniture stores is at right now, about 20%.
Yeah, like as far as I know, like it
Mm,
depends on the location because some of them, like if they're high-end furniture seller, they only, work with appointments. So it's kind of
sure.
different, but on average, like a typical furniture store that sells, mattresses, sofa lofts, sectionals, like it's kind of like 20-25%.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if you're in that, let's say you're at 35% or 40%, you still have the majority of what's coming to your door going out the door without an invoice in hand. There's opportunity there.
Mhm.
There's opportunity to get some of those people back. So like Be Back Bucks, that's that one tool that we hit a home run with our
Mhm.
members. Like that'll make you money. I have one member down in Florida. I stopped taking count, but they jumped in with us June of last year with that tool. That day they did $8,900 in sales with that tool
Wow.
as a direct result.
Mhm.
I stopped counting when they reported back at $70,000 from that tool, and I just stopped counting at that point. Um, we have another member from our teachings, they're a top 100, and we gave them our double deals discounting structure. Um, and they implemented that with their team, and, he gave me a testimonial. Um, it's on our Mattress Retailer Toolkit YouTube channel, and,
Mhm.
it says $100,000 a month it saved me, put to the bottom line. Well, that's $1,200,000 a year.
yeah,
That's huge,
yeah. So
huge. So yeah, we do some cool stuff here. I
Mhm.
appreciate you asking, but in a nutshell, we're the place where store owners who sell mattresses come to get recharged, rekindle that passion, and bring it back to their teams for more profit, more tickets, more sales.
hmm hmm That's great. Yeah. And finally, like if you had one tip to share with small business owners, not just furniture, business owners, about how to be successful in today's marketplace, what would it be?
Yeah. So it's a tip that takes a little bit to explain. It's your mind. It's that mindset. It's the number one
Mindset.
tool you need.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna take you through an exercise that I just did that unlocked for me. So prior to this weekend, I had a tremendous fear of snakes. Okay. So let
Mhm.
me let me step back and I'll tell the story. So mindset is so important, and I know it sounds cliche, and I'm going to give to you what I got as such a gift with what I'm going to share. But fear is what holds back that growth of mindset. Okay. So we all know our brains are interconnected, and there's a lot of electricity. And if we all actually plugged in our brains, we would like power the whole electric grid with the electricity in our brains, right? Like
Mhm.
powerful. We don't understand our brains. It's all interconnected in all these weird, wild ways we know and don't know. But fear holds you back in so many ways. And so consciously and subconsciously, we have to address it. So at this event, the leadership team's kind of aggressive, uh, kind of in your face, if you will, a little bit, challenges you. They're into martial arts. And so they set the tone for the weekend. And I'm like, anybody loves snakes? And a couple people's hands went up. And anybody okay with like petting a snake, being around snakes? And most of the hands went up. He's like, all right, anybody have a great fear of snakes? My hand shot up. Like, I hated snakes, fearful of snakes. My wedding day, actually, we're at this beautiful stone mill getting pictures. I step in a hole in the grass and I look down, there's a snake around my foot. I run. I left my wife in her wedding dress. I booked it. I'm gone. That's how much I despised, notice past tense now, snakes.
Okay.
So that was Friday morning, like 10:15, started at 9:30. All weekend in the back of my mind, when are the snakes coming out? When are the snakes coming out? As the day goes on, Saturday, I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to be around the snake. I'm not going to like it, but I guess I got to be around it because I'm not going to wimp out. I've learned enough. I appreciate what these guys are throwing down. And so Saturday night comes and goes, and we get to Sunday. And it's like, yeah, we're going to get to the snakes in a little bit. And then he starts teaching the mindset thing and draws this graph about how your mind's all interconnected, which I knew. But he's like, you see how all these lines are not connected? That's not real. They all connect. So who's fearful of snakes? And me and everybody else put their hands back up. He's like, if I bring the snake out right now, can I count on you to touch it? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Let's do it. I'm ready. He's like, well, there is no snake. So in 3 days' time, just addressing it and working into it, I addressed that fear, and I would have happily pet the snake. Now, there weren't any snakes, but I would have happily done it.
Yeah.
So yes, your mind is your number one growth tool, but right behind that is your fear stopping that growth in your mind. So get comfortable with that fear, look it straight in the eye, address it, because even though you're not talking about it daily, it's up there in your mind, intersecting, cutting off, making a dead end with your opportunity for growth. So yes, growth is number one, but whatever you're fearing is stopping it.
Wow.
Face that fear and kill it. It doesn't deserve any place in your mind. So I'm actually connected with a friend of mine who I know in real life runs, I forget the name of his business, just went right off the top of my head, but he does like reptile shows. He brings snakes and rodents and spiders and stuff with like kids and retirement homes, and does talks and lessons, and he's that guy. Well, I'm going to reach out to Jesse and I'm going to say, hey man, I got to come pet a snake. Because I got to do it, right? I'm going to cement that.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just talk. It's not action, but I'm going to cement that so that fear is cut off in my brain and growth can truly unlock.
Yeah. And
so go pet the snake, whatever your snake is, right?
Yeah, definitely. So everybody has, a snake in their life, and they need to overcome that challenge. So
Yep.
Yeah, and it kills your productivity. It kills your ability to take a risk. So, and yeah, as an entrepreneur, we need to get rid of that snake and keep going. Yeah.
There's a lot against us as it is.
Yeah.
Tariffs, like we can't control that. We don't sit in those boardrooms. We don't sit in those global macroeconomic meetings. I pay no attention to it because I can't affect it. All right. I don't care who's in the Oval Office. I can't affect it. Now, locally politics, I play in that arena because I can affect it.
Correct.
Okay. But that's where it stops. I have no desire to go beyond that in any way, shape, or form other than casting a vote. But you can 100% smack that snake in the face. You can face that fear. So whatever your fears are, give that focus. But whatever isn't, pay it no mind. Again, that will contribute to your growth mindset.
Perfect. Yeah. And lastly, like for our listeners, if they want to reach out to you, what is the best way to reach
Yeah,
out?
I'm very active on social media.
Mhm.
Jeff Giagnocavo, which you have my stuff for the show here. So you can connect with me on social media. If you want to connect right to one of my personal websites, thejeffg.com would be a place to go. You can check out what we're doing at Gardners Mattress More.com. So you can see our website. It'll look very different than the average mattress store website or furniture retailer. So you'll probably learn some lessons there of how we put education at the forefront. Um, if you want a whole robust podcast with about 135 episodes deep, you could check out The Big Ticket Life. I'm not actively producing shows, but I had a ton of great guests on there. Um, one of those, episode number 2 was Sammy Knight, who built and sold the Mossy Oak outdoor clothing brand, which was furniture industry knows it because we had camouflage recliners and sofas. That was Sammy. Good friends with Sam Walton of Walmart. So you can check that episode out. And then if you're a mattress retailer, go to mattressretailertoolkit.com and check out what we're doing there.
Yeah, perfect. And we're gonna put it into descriptions, definitely your links and
Perfect.
yep. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Ahmet.
It
Really
was an
appreciate your
amazing
show.
episode. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.